hear all about the fourth OTA this season? Here we are with a special edition of Two Giant Goofballs Talk About It. I am Drew, of course, as always, joined by...
I'm Rob, a special edition show.
Oh! So let's get right into it, guys. OTAs. So today was a shortened practice. The players had head out to the annual charity golf classic to benefit the Giants Foundation, but the team did spend some time this morning going through 11-11 drills there. Malik Nabers, the 6th overall pick, of course, in the draft from us there, started the day with a few completions thrown his way by one Tommy DeVito.
It was all about the sauce.
Giants.com was nice enough to give a couple of quotes here from Brian Daboll on their report of the practice there. Of course, the quotes from last week, some of them they were saying there. So I guess they're trying to fill up since it was a half day of practice. But we figured we share because, listen, Brian Daboll, he's the coach. He's got a lot of pull. His opinions matter here. So he talks the first there about Malik Nabers there, says, there's a lot of information to learn. You know that. He works really hard. There are a couple of different positions that he has to move around and learn, and that's why we drafted him. So good young pro, works really hard at it, spends a lot of time with wide receivers coach Mike Groh when he can, kind of like Jalin Hyatt did last season and Wan'Dale Robinson did the year before. So it's been nice. Interesting, because it's like he went out of his way to point out the fact that Wan'Dale did this, Jalin Hyatt did this, while the expectations are a lot higher, obviously, for Nabers. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say.
I was going to say, very safe to say.
If he has 300 yards and no touchdowns, I'm going to be pissed. Let's not compare him to Hyatt. The long pass of the day was to newly signed wide receiver Allen Robinson. Of course, the veteran there, the former Pro Bowler, who's now kind of tail end of his career, but we're hoping to get a little more juice out of the bottle there. Lawrence Cager had a few receptions from DeVito as well, and had one for a pretty big game down the middle. Rookie tight end at Penn State, Theo Johnson, also had a catch from Drew Lock. Talking Giants, Bobby Skinner and Justin Pennick there, gave a photo of Darius Slayton at the practice. That's an interesting note that I don't think is being talked about enough. So Darius Slayton was at practice. So I don't know if he's fully ending his holdout. Obviously, these, when you're in that contract fight, you don't usually typically show up to these kind of things, but he did. So it's good to see him there. I think he also might realize the fact that, hey, you're under contract and you're not a big name. You're probably not going to win this,
Probably not.
Whether he deserves it or not, he probably does deserve a little more money, but he's probably not going to win. So on the defense side of the ball, Ryder Anderson found his way into the backfield at one point for what would have been a sack if they were actually sacking the quarterback, but it's just practice. It's just practice.
Just little love taps.
Exactly. Dexter Lawrence at one point sped up the QB there to throw force it to incompletion. So good to see him in the backfield doing his thing. And super sophomore cornerback Deontay Banks forced an incompletion of his own as well. So a little bit of news there on both. But again, we talked about this before. You notice what they didn't tell you. Who threw the incompletions? Who messed up the block? Who blew the coverage? They don't talk about the negative ever.
No.
But it's good to see Banks doing good there. And, Daboll also gave a quote there on Banks as well. He said, it's always a big difference between year one and year two. Obviously, he's done it for a whole year in terms of how we do things here, learning some new things of what we're putting in defensively, but he has the right mindset. He's working extremely hard and trying to do as good as he can do. I feel like is that setting the bar low? He's doing as good as he can do. That doesn't sound very good at the end.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like
he's doing the best he can, guys. What else do you want?
Yeah, he gets a ribbon for trying.
Yeah, here's a participation trophy. I don't even mean it that way. That's the end of the quote that the Giants.com people put up there. It just kind of sticks with you there. They talked also about installing the new defense there with Shane Bowen. He says it's important for these guys to hear the call, the meeting time, being able to take it from the classroom to the field. They have done a good job. That's why these are so important, particularly when you can get out now and line up against the formation or something like that, but it's a work in progress. you kind of read between the lines here. So what he's saying basically is the defense is going to have some struggles right now because they're learning a new defense, and that's obvious. I'd be kind of shocked.
To be expected.
Yeah. So,
you totally revamped the defense and the coaches, huh? Yeah. There might be some growing pains.
You made some changes. You have a lot of really, really young players. Who would have thought there might be some mistakes being made? Crazy. Daboll also talked about the rookies and getting them on speed there. He said they're obviously behind mentally, trying to catch them up physically. I think Executive Director of Player Personnel Aaron Wellman has done a good job with the plan that he's kind of set in place, along with the training staff, of how many reps we can give them each period. We're trying to build them up. We don't want to take any setbacks physically. Try to throw as much as you can on them mentally, which is different from the rookie camp. So they're getting a lot of information right now. So yeah, again, giving more and more quotes with that don't really give anything out at all. He's very ambiguous today. All the quotes that he's giving, very ambiguous. But I think the big news takeaway from this is probably just the fact that, and it didn't even get mentioned on Giants.com. It was Talking Giants who were the ones who I saw that with. Darius Slayton being at camp. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Which, like you alluded to, he's probably not going to get paid because he's going to be the wide 5.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, and we'll talk about it, if what goes down is going to go down, where if post June 1st, you get a certain tight end retiring here in Darren Waller, there's going to be some extra money available now all of a sudden. So maybe they use some of that and give him a little bit of kickback like they did it to Saquon Barkley at that point. They're like, here's an extra $1 million. Appreciate what you do. We just don't have the money to give you all the money you want right now, but here's a little something extra. Maybe that's part of what they do to kind of smooth things over with them a little bit there. So we'll see. Next practice is May 30th. So as we're recording this here on the 28th, yeah, exactly. That's going to be on Thursday, actually. Thursday, not Friday. You maybe say yes too. Don't make me look foolish. I do that enough in my own.
Yes.
But yeah, so we'll see if Slayton's still there at that point, or if it's just a one-off because he happened to be there for the the charity event. That's something you got to think about with this as well. He might have just shown up for that because the charity event was important to him. So we'll see. I kind of hope he's back. I like him being back. I like the whole team being together for camp as best as possible. But I get it. It's a business, and we can't fault a guy for trying to get as much money as he can in what's a very short career in the NFL.
100%.
So, all right, guys. So, for those of you guys who are watching this on the day we're recording here, heads up, we'll be live again tomorrow, the 29th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, Wednesday, our usual time, talking about the safety room there, all the safeties, including a certain rookie that we have a lot of high hopes for.
So high hopes.
So appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share, tell a friend, please tell a friend. That's how we get around to people. So we also do, of course, the live show we talked about there that we're doing tomorrow. We do it every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It also pops up the next day on all the audio podcasts as well, if you prefer audio on the way into work as well. So appreciate you guys listening. And as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.